LaMarcus Aldridge has returned to his Portland form, having his best season as a Spur, averaging over 23 points and 8 rebounds a game. He's also shooting over 50% from the field. How much of that, Paul, I'll start with you, is due to the absence of Kawhi Leonard?
Well, pretty much all of it is due to the absence of Kawhi, because you talk about their leading scorer. Kawhi averages 25-plus points. I mean, so now all those touches are going to LaMarcus. It's going to be less wins when you don't have Kawhi, but his numbers went up. And that's what we wanted to see from him, though. You know, we wanted to see how he was going to respond this year, and he's doing a great job. That he became an all-star again.
Right.
You know, he stepped up. Him and Pop cleared the air, and this is what we wanted to see this year from LaMarcus.
But is this what we wanted to see, or did we want to see what he would be able to do with Kawhi, and then we only got the 9 games?
With Kawhi, obviously, but when your other star is not there, that means your other superstar has to step up, and he's done more than that.
He's carrying the Spurs.
Absolutely.
He went from being a guy, as you mentioned, that probably didn't want to be in San Antonio to their featured player, to the point where he's the only person on their roster to score over 30 points in a game. That just fascinates me. He's done it 16 times. Tony Parker's dealt with injury. He's clearly not the player that he once was. Manu Ginobili, you know, you can only rely on him in spurts at this point of his career. Same with Pau Gasol. And he's allowing the young players to develop, Murray in particular. So it's been a terrific season for LaMarcus. He deserves to be all NBA.
Do you think about that, though, the idea that we never actually got to see a full Spurs roster for a long period of time? Not to knock anything or take away from anything that's been done, but in reality, I think the worry was when he had the conversation with Pop was he wasn't the focal point. But because of injury now, he's had to be the focal point.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, just adding Kawhi to this team, we're talking about a whole different playoff race right now.
Right.
We're talking about Houston, Golden State, OKC, and San Antonio potentially being contenders, and one of them having to face each other, which they may in the playoffs, but without Kawhi, it just doesn't give it that same appeal when you see San Antonio maybe facing off versus Golden State or Houston this year.
And when you have an all-NBA player like Kawhi not playing, it opens up different voids that haven't existed, like the All-Star game. It's like people were scrambling for that spot. Mm-hmm. The same as you mentioned for the Western Conference race. The Spurs would have been in the top 3, no question about it.
What would have been?